Loot boxes. They are on everyone's mind right now, with good reason. There are games that are making loot boxes integral to gameplay and game progression. Essentially, pay to win on a full price AAA game. That's just all kinds of bad idea, but it's being done because the industry sees dollar signs everywhere they turn. Because, for some reason, people buy into loot boxes. This video is aimed primarily at the gaming industry. If you are part of the gaming industry, publisher, developer, or you would call yourself a suit, I encourage you to listen, because there is something I think you are not quite thinking about. I would like to say, hey, you know, loot boxes are detrimental to gamers and children who are at risk to gambling behaviors. But you would probably scoff at that, roll dollar signs for eyes, and laugh exceedingly as you close the video. But before you do that, that's not the approach I want to take. I don't think it will work, because if it did, we wouldn't be here. There is an approach, however, that has to do with your own self-interest. Congratulations. You are, at least the last I heard, a $96 billion industry. Well done. And that was, I think, from last year, not even this year. And you are poised, gleefully rubbing your hands at pulling the wool over everyone's eyes over loot boxes that they aren't gambling. But, as we all know, you will make a fortune from those loot boxes. You are going to make money hand over fist, and maybe that's why you can't see 2 steps past it. But I want to show you the next 2 steps past it. Right now, the ESRB and PEGI tell you that loot boxes aren't gambling, but the ESRB and PEGI are industry oversight, not governmental oversight. You, as an industry, are self-regulated. Sure, there are politicians and laws that cover some things, but really not all that many, and no one really pays that much attention. The world hasn't caught up to technology, to the economy of games. But you are about to change that. Because for the first time, you are dabbling in something that is actually within a reasonable definition of gambling. And someone, when they see that industry article that brags about how much money you are going to make, someone is going to take notice. It might be a gambling commissioner in one of the United States. It might be a senator up for re-election. It might be even a prime minister who decides that they need a platform on protecting children from at-risk, predatory, monetary schemes. And you may not think that you are any of those, because you can close your eyes and put your fingers in your ear and go la 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 louder than anyone else. But it doesn't matter what you think as an industry insider. What matters is what that gambling commissioner thinks, what that politician thinks, or what that soccer mom will think when she looks at her credit card bill and sees that little Junior has racked up $500 to $1,000 in loot boxes. Because she's going to go to her local affiliate news station, and the affiliate news station is going to get picked up by the national network, and that's going to go out over the Associated Press, and it's going to be everywhere in the blink of an eye. And all of a sudden, the industry that was always self-regulated won't be self-regulated anymore. And you may think to yourself, well, we could lobby against that, but, it always comes down to self-interest, doesn't it? If that politician really needs to get elected, or that gambling commissioner really feels like he could move up another step in the political chain by gaining enough money regulating gaming, it's not going to matter what your lobbyist thinks. How much money you put into lobbying the point. Loot boxes started out as cosmetic, as relatively innocent, but your own behavior shows you that slippery slope is often the case where self-interest is concerned. Someone gave you an inch and you took 10 miles. Do you think the gaming commissioner, the senator, the politician will do any less to preserve their career, to forward their career? Do you think that once you've kicked in this door and found yourself a little bit of government oversight, that it will end there? Or do you think you might find their hands in even more pockets, their voices shouting down even more choices? What you're doing right now will lead to the end of self-regulation. It doesn't matter if you take my word for it or not. If you can look 2 steps into your future, and that's not really very hard for anyone, you can see that it's coming. You should have seen it was coming when you came up with the idea. It's not that hard. You can think you're clever by saying that loot boxes aren't gambling, but there will be a world of people who will argue with you. Enough people that politicians, gaming commissions, and commissioners will have legs to stand on. Expert witnesses to testify, and cases to make. If you want to defend yourselves as an industry, learn to work with your consumer base. Right now, they are not with you. There are more than enough of them that will be willing to hand you over heart and soul to those gambling commissions. If you want to be self-regulated, if you want to be safe in this, you really need to learn to work with each other, gamers and games industry. I know there is a lot of contention. There are many loud voices that say many unkind things, but there are far more voices who are reasonable for the most part, but who don't necessarily agree with decisions like this. Those are the ones you have to be afraid of right now. I'm pretty sure, if you haven't heard of it, you should know it, the 1-9-90 rule. 1% comment, 9% respond, 90% just read or watch. Well, you're stirring up the 90% right now. I don't include myself in that. I'm obviously the 1% because I'm commenting here. However, I love the games industry. I believe in you guys. I believe in gaming as the sole inheritor at the moment of entertainment. I don't believe the rest of entertainment is going away any more than, say, theater went away when television or movies came about. But I do believe that you are the future incarnation of entertainment. You are the inheritor. I believe in you guys. I want you to do well, but I also want you to be realistic, and I want you to think about your future. You may have dollar signs in your eyes right this very moment, but 2 steps from now, you are in a world of trouble. So please, think about what you're doing. Try and find a happy medium with your audience. It will serve you and your audience well. You don't have to lose face in this. You can say, you know what, upon further consideration, we have decided that loot boxes integral to gameplay may not be the best thing for all of our younger consumers and at-risk consumers. And you have saved face. You have looked like a star. And you have probably found a way to avoid government oversight and government regulation. I really hope this has given you something to think about. I really, truly do. Because, much like the loot boxes have proved themselves to be, I think that regulation is a very slippery slope. Alrighty, folks, I would like to thank you for watching. I really, truly hope you found something to think about, and I hope that we can all find a way to work together. Most of all, I would like to ask you to please, please, take care.